What's up with it, y'all? Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Yeah, um, we got another special show as always. Tonight we will be talking about cyberbullying, and is it at an all-time high, dealing with activists. Um, we have a special guest tonight, Cherie Gore. Um, we definitely appreciate her, for taking her time out, to tell us her story about things that have been going on with cyberbullying and as far as activists taking money from the community. Um, so we're just waiting on Brother Emmanuel to get up in here and Cherie Gore as well. Um, Speaking on activists, it's how can I say this? Speaking on activists, well, the ones that are really doing for the community, I really salute y'all. And everything that y'all do and anything that the critical show can contribute um, and help doing um, this justice that's been going on. Bring Miss Gore in so she can speak um, on these different issues. So y'all just bear with us while we get them on here.
Okay.
How you doing, Miss Gore? Appreciate you for taking your
Good.
time out. What's
How
going
are
on,
you?
brother? Oh, I'm blessed. Can't complain at all. Can't complain at all. Yeah. And I'm glad that hey, how you doing, Lady Hill? And I'm glad that you are taking your time out tonight to speak with us on many issues that are affecting the community and affecting you as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Um, you, you know, but for the people who don't know who you are and the situations that you have been going through, can you please start off as far as how did we get to this point that um, I would say, you've been targeted in some way
hmm
or some fashion. Can you please elaborate to us and to everybody that's watching?
Absolutely. So, hello, everybody. I see some of you on that I know. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Cherie Dorr, and I've been working in the community this is my 14th year doing this. Um, Started out after Troy Davis was executed long ago. We all know about how all of that went wrong. That basically lit the fire underneath me to get in the community and fight for other people. So I've been working with Houston's homeless community for 14 years, and then also working with families who are victims of police violence where their loved ones were murdered. And this includes Jordan Baker, who was murdered. It's been 9 years. I'm sorry. In 2012, it was after Trayvon Martin joined his mother in the fight for justice for her son, who was wrongly killed. He was misidentified and murdered. Ashton Barnes is another young man. 9 years ago, he was murdered by a Precinct 5 officer. Worked with his mother in regards to that. Of course, everybody knows about Sandra Bland. I was heavily involved in seeking justice for the family on that. John Hernandez, who was murdered by a cop's husband and also a Harris County deputy, worked with the family in that. And then, I've just done a lot of stuff in the background and mostly working with our homeless community, seeing to it that they're fed, housed, their rights are not violated. There's so much pouring into what it is that I do for the community. So I've been very vocal about Quanell since about 2016 when I started hearing stories that were coming. I was working with the brothers back then that were bringing this information to light, and hearing the stories that come by a lot of the victims of Quanell was very heartbreaking for me to hear. So I have been vocal about him for the last 9 years. I'm not going to stop being vocal about him. And most recently, where it concerns Candace Matthews, I was not aware. I know that Quanell is her mentor, but I was not aware of any of the same ongoing things because I hadn't heard much about it. There wasn't much chatter up until there was a community page I'm a part of. A gentleman brought it up, and when I simply questioned him about it, he got upset with me, but he came to my inbox with screenshots of money that he sent to Candace Matthews' Cash App, and I guess communications or lack thereof communications with following through for this gentleman and what it was that he was seeking coming from Candace. These are screenshots that are brought to me by somebody who said that this happened to her. I have no reason, to lie. The gentleman, I don't think that these are stories that are just being put out there. There's no big conspiracy to take down these two individuals. So on somebody else's post, I didn't even independently post about her myself, but on somebody else's post, I made a comment and said in a couple of sentences that Candace isn't a doctor and that Candace is a booster. I was very disheartened to hear that she was following the footsteps of Quanell. So in any case, that led to what started a whole trend of cyberbullying where it came by Candace Matthews. This off of just one comment, and it blew up into her making 4 videos about me, exposing everything in my life, my financial hardships, my criminal history, when I became a Democrat voter, twisting narratives, very one-sided, and then started making disparaging photos of me, claiming I'm a defender of white supremacy. And a lot of the photos that she was doing was AI altered, making me look like I'm a patient of Dr. Now with 600-pound life. It was going to the extreme based off of one comment that I made. So I did do a subsequent video expressing what activism means to me and what a community activist is. And from there, it's been relentless on her part. And I can only speak for myself, but I'm seeing some of the other, I'm personal friends with a woman that she's coming for right now, or that she did in the last few days. And then coming after myself, Mr. Ricky and Miss Samantha, who were all 3 defendants in her active lawsuit against us for defamation of character, where she's seeking $1 million. And then you and I discussed this quickly before, we did the live feed tonight, but even the attempt to try to silence me from doing this video, which was not going to happen. Candace has just posted that I have a warrant for my arrest and treating me like she's informing the public of this dangerous woman, and she doesn't have her facts in order there, because it's an unconfirmed warrant, number one, and then number two, this is a case where we're trying to get my probation set from Brazoria to Harris County, because I don't live in Brazoria. So it's literally in the system right now going through that. So it's, again, methods that Candace is utilizing to try to silence me. And I guess enough people aren't letting her know that I don't scare easily, and I'm not going to shut up about the taking money from people who are in desperate need of help. So I'm not going to be silenced. I'm here with you tonight. I could have canceled with some, ridiculous excuse, but this is too important to me to not only address victims of these individuals, but also to address the method in which she is moving forward in cyberbullying myself and other people, which is not okay.
Yeah, no, first off, I want to thank you for being involved in the community and helping who you can in the community, and that means a lot to know that it's history behind your works.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? No
Correct.
matter what you're faced with right now, you have been doing the work. You have been, feet on the ground, hands, all hands on deck, and that's one thing you can't take from no one.
Right.
Is their work is always going to show.
Correct.
Now, another thing that is the background.
A little bit critical.
Go ahead, brother Emmanuel.
You're breaking up a little bit on the screen. Give it a second.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just me. You sounded digital for a minute.
Yeah. So go back to what you were saying before.
Okay, y'all can hear me good now?
Yes.
Now you good.
Okay, I was speaking as far as the background checks. Because I've seen your background posted, which I don't see anything wrong, because everybody has a background, and it's one thing. It's one thing if you are doing the same thing that you was doing years ago.
Right.
That's something totally different, but when a person changed their lives for the better, I feel that it's wrong as hell, for anybody to bring that back, because right now, we're dealing with current situations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with anybody's past.
Right.
Because everybody has a past, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn if you got caught or what. You still have a past that somebody knows about. You feel what I'm saying? So we always have to be careful when we're doing things like that. And another thing that I've also observed, we cannot downgrade women, single parents, for the things that they may have done during their past to help take care of their kids. Everything in life we always don't do right, but we can't make nobody feel bad because what they had to do in the past to survive.
Right.
Now I feel that's very fucked up. I do. I feel that that is very fucked up for anybody to do. I don't care who you are,
Right.
because just like I said, everybody has a past. Brother man, I know you guys you want to speak, so go ahead.
Shit, you are right. And I want to thank everybody that's here tonight in the audience, everybody that's listening. Share the message because it is the truth time. It's slick time, man. Monday Night Raw. Going to go hard. And I thank you for all that you've been doing in the community, Michelle. Continue to push your programs and shoot them to me, and we're going to support however we can. Everybody out, check her out, support what she got going on. And this is not something that we all happy about having to do, because so many times they call this mess. But this is a danger to the community. It then got to the level where all the public is watching. This show tonight is in honor of Gary Monroe. Some may call him Jerry Monroe. Everybody
Facts.
know he's up of the South. And he stood on Education Net for the longest time.
Yes.
And he also
Yeah.
stood on this person who's the topic of our conversation net for a long time. And he had a lot of information that he came across and that he secured. And that information will be released very, very soon. And see, that's what the whole subject is about. A lot of people, they try to dox people or bully people cyber by putting their information out, putting their past out, and this is just a method to try to shame you. But if you're not ashamed of your past, if there's reality in your past, don't allow them to shame you. Tell them to do it. Tell them to dig it up. Tell them to dig as far as they can, because trust me, it takes money for them to do that. And if they spending their money on getting on you, then hey, they losing the money. They done scammed a whole lot of people. So a fool and his money will soon part. Some kind of way we're gonna make them come on with it. And just like they can file lawsuits on others, they can have lawsuits filed on them. And they're gonna have to go through the same steps. See, you gotta fight the cyber bully the same way you fight the regular bully. You just stand up to them. And most of the time when you hit that bully in the mouth, they run because most of them can't even fight. And that's the thing. You got to watch out because things that you are connected to, people you connected to, i.e. your husbands and spouses, they have records that you might not have participated in, but those records coming to light will make a lot of people run from you. And some people have some people in their family that did a whole lot of dirt in this city, and being connected to them would stop a lot of their affiliations. And guess what? All that information is going to come out because when you judge somebody, you're going to be judged also. When you start talking all this stuff, you have to be accountable for what you done did. And so it is the time where everybody is digging from every point and they pulling out all that stuff. I'm going to say this personally so we can get back to our guest and she can explain more. But I'm going to say this personally because everybody know I was his bodyguard. I stood up to protect him so that he can get the message to help people. And when I needed him the most, he failed me. He left me hanging. My son was murdered. Said nothing still to this day, act like he never known me. But that was me. I just looked different. The thing is, a lot of this stuff that this man is doing is being done because the community is allowing it. And I say this because since that happened with my son, a lot of people might not have known, but we've been putting out videos. Yakanan, us, many others have been putting out videos over years. I'm relentless at it because the betrayal he did for me, it's heartbreaking when people hear the whole story. My brother's keeper, all that. I love black. That man is a fraud. I am the greatest example of his fraud because I'm his brother. And when his nephew, my son, was murdered, he said nothing. He left it, let the government treat me all kind of ways. This is the true nature of this man. And if you think an individual that would leave his own family standing, leave him hanging, would stand up for you, you're just going to be fooled. And we can't stop everybody, but we have been putting down the effort for a long time to convince the public of what this man is all about. And I had a business at one point in time. I want people to know this. I had a business. It helped the little brothers and sisters in the community. It even helped older adults, to make some money whenever they needed it. Because, of course, I didn't have the money that I can give people, but I can find you a way to make it. So I shared my business. And one of my clients was Dr. Matthews' husband. You know, I used to, you know, do his vehicles. And I went out to his home one time because a lot of my customers that I had been with for a long time, they would have me come out to their places. And I went out to their residence. And I asked him if I could speak to his wife because at that time I had noticed Dr. Matthews with the Democratic National Convention. And she always had that patch on. She was always with Jesse Jackson. And I asked him, can I talk to him? Because I saw her accountability and I thought she would just really be real about it. You know, no matter who it is, a lot of these people pick and choose, but the real ones don't. So I thought she would be real about it. And I told her personally, I talked to her in the yard and told her about Cornell X, his character, what he did to me, left me hanging, what he's been doing. I talked to this woman and told her all of it straight from my source. So there wasn't no, you know, he say, she say. I'm the man that stood by him and protected him. So if I'm saying it, it's credible. That woman listened, and she still went ahead and chose to mess with Cornell. And see, when people know that you shady and they still mess with you, they know that the things that you're about is manipulative, and they want that. Because I'm telling you, anybody that got told what I told this woman would not want to stand on side of this man unless it benefited her in a manipulative way. So this woman has known for the longest of his character before she even joined with him. Because I was with him in 2015 and 2016. Candace was not there. She was not a member of nothing that we had going. I don't know how she say she been his protege. Maybe he's just been talking to her. But she didn't have no patch when I was there. None of them had no patch when I was there. I was there running it, having the barbershop meetings and all that. She never came to none of that. The community involvements when we were the Black Panther Nation. She jumped on with Cornell at about 2019 when she was getting, you know, shadowed away from that Democratic National Party, and she couldn't get access to Jesse Jackson, you know. And shit, I done sat at the table with Jesse Jackson and had dinner, and I ain't even a part of none of that shit, you know. And she ain't even did that. She's supposed to be represented. A lot of these people are just fooling us, y'all, by being a part of groups, and then they're taking the group and they pushing it out. You see her everywhere she go, this jacket, this big old ass hat, and this big old ass goddamn Thor hammer. Those are things that manipulate you, entertainment. You know what I'm saying? The physical of her actually being able to do something, she does not have the power to do any of that. She can only threaten people, and then she's smart enough to know how far to threaten, who to threaten. When them laws come, they run, just like Cornell. Fake like he'll stand up for you, and he's going to run when there's danger. He ain't gonna put himself in no danger, but he'll promote us all to do that. My people, I'm gonna end with this. All the work that we're doing, we need to continue to do it. This is the time. We cannot let up, because what he's doing is beyond criminal. It is destroying our community unity. We all have many organizations, many colors. We all live in this city together. We ride together, we die together. We have to stand up on all type of issues together. But we cannot do that if you have these fraudsters that are out there that are scamming the people that really need help, that can really benefit our societies and stuff. You know, if y'all are out there willing to give Cornell and Candace thousands of dollars, thousands, y'all got all this money, hold your money and look up at some of these other organizations that are doing some shit. Make a donation to them, and I promise they're gonna tell you the reality. We can only do what the law allows us to do. You know, a lot of issues in life we're gonna be mad about. You know, we're gonna want some justice. We're gonna want somebody to stand up. Cornell and Candace sell fake TV interviews. That is the greatest part of their advocacy for the community. That's all they can do, is spread awareness a little bit, because another thing, those news stations are getting tired of them. There's no fruit to what they're talking about. They're just entertainment. So, you know, all those, I salute y'all that are doing the real work out there in the community. Here we P, the People's Party, you know, share our sister Jemiah. You know, it's many more that we can, Sister Hales, but many more that are standing on Cornell and Candace and are standing up to them, because we ain't getting bullied by nobody. And damn sure not nobody with no big ass size fucking hat on their goddamn head with a fucking hammer like they a superhero and can't fly. No, all of those are illusions, y'all. You know, even the threatening of suing y'all. The court system ain't on their side. Actually, the court system is looking for them. So when they pull these bluffs, y'all, tell them come on with it. When they try to show our past, tell them show their own past. And they family connections, it'll ruin them. They really should be quiet. But that's all I got to say, because it's slick talk. We're going to tell it to the truth.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I
You
want to
know,
touch on that TV, holding press conferences. I'm not minimizing that because I think it is important. We know the system to sweep shit under the rug and hope that this will go away. It is important to get in front of media, but guess what? That's free. That is free. You don't have to pay anybody anything to bring attention to your case. But where I also have a problem is you don't just stop with media time and then disappear and then, the family is on their own. If you really care, you're invested. You're going to make sure that this family has proper legal representation, not some fly-by-night attorney with a bunch of blemishes on their records, and then that's a whole ordeal in itself. But make sure that they're legally represented. Support them in times of going to court to try to fight for their loved one, whatever the case might be. And then in my case, like, I have continued to keep in touch with every single family I've worked with over the years and checking with them, because guess what? Their loved one is long gone. The community activism is gone, and they're left by themselves to think about that loved one that they lost. And that's what hits me on holidays and the victims' birthdays and the anniversary dates of their death, checking in with the family to make sure that they are okay. And I'm sorry, in the case where it concerns Cornell and Candace, I don't see any of that done. It starts
Exactly.
and stops with media, and then there is no follow through from B to Z,
I'm going
and
to tell you
that's,
something behind closed
again,
doors.
where I have a problem as well. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you something behind closed doors, Sheriff, because again, I was the bodyguard and I was the head of the army, so I ran all of the interactions that we had to bring him out to the scene for those reports. I'm gonna let everybody know how Cornell would do. Cornell would not show up until precisely right before the interview. We would be out on the scene first. We would give the mics to the different reporters, and then we would tell them all the rules and how they want it. He would never get out there too early. And as soon as it was time for the feed, let's say it was a 5 o'clock live, they needed to do the feed at 4:55. He would show up exactly at 4:55, have enough time just to speak about the story because I would brief him, be seen on the camera because that's who they were there for. They came out for the story because Cornell sent the emails to him, and then he would speak exactly how she said, and as soon as the camera stopped, soon as they completed, he would be back in his vehicle and gone from the scene. All those times y'all seen him out there on camera, and all, he knew how to manipulate, knowing the cameras was watching, so he'll be hugging you. He'll be seeming like he's consoling the person and they're sitting there crying. But like she said, he don't go to no funerals. He don't go to no repasses with the family. He don't come to the family church. Come to the family home, kick it with him.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting attention off of this family. But what are you doing, like she said, to help this family move forward?
right.
He has the influence to just make a call and have the brothers and sisters, they'll come together and they can make a program where we help those that go through these tragedies. He's not even using this stage for that. It would rather be on that face thing, talking like he hate white folks. That's the biggest thing. That's what my problem is. Because as Black Panthers, we do not hate white people. And if there are any Black
At
Panthers
all.
out there
At all.
that hate
At
white
all.
people, you're
We
not a
don't hate
Black Panther.
white
You're
people
an
at all.
extremist. That's what the real truth. We care for all those that care for the people, because the power is in the people. And if you united with us, we united with you. And we're going to check everybody to make sure that it's safety. That's all it is. But a true revolutionary is trying to make the community better for everybody. And the originators saw it for every color, not just black. They named it black because they were the Black Panthers, but they said power to the people. And that was the message. That was the program. They were out there. They weren't just feeding black kids no breakfast program. They were feeding the kids in their neighborhoods. They were
Right.
protecting and taking care of the citizens and the people in their neighborhood. And if you're saying you're going to be that and you're not doing that, you're picking and choosing off of a fake fame. All that fame finna be gone. You see them lights right
Correct.
here? We colored people. Everybody, and we all mixed. Ain't none of us authentic, nothing. So we are people of the planet. We got to reside by the rules of the planet, which is treat each other the way we want to be treated. And when they
Yeah.
don't do it, don't be scared to call them out, y'all. That day of being bullied and stuff, man, that day is gone. And especially on this communication system we have right now. Just like they can
Right.
look up stuff, y'all can look up stuff. So since they want to be famous, everybody make them famous. Go find out everything you got on them and put it out there. They can throw them, we can throw them right back.
Right.
We have Ricky Jason just said something. He said Cornell X and Candace Matthews is fake. Cornell ex-wife is white.
I've heard those rumors. I've heard the rumors. I didn't know if they were true or not.
You and that's another thing that's confusing our people, and that people really haven't just did their research on him. You know, he's been portraying to uh, put that I hate white people bullshit out there for many, many years. You know, but for many, many years, you've been on Fox 26, you know what I'm saying, getting money from them, and whoever else believe that you are a Black Panther, you know, which you're not. Cornell got kicked out of the Black Panther Party. He was kicked out, you know, just to inform everybody that who doesn't know. And once he got kicked out, he wanted to start his own shit. You feel what I'm saying? So now we pretty much got a divided community because of his actions, and that's real fucked up. That's real
Yep.
fucked up because he's targeting our poor, our poor community. Um, and the thing is, the key number that he's always asking for is the $3,500. That's his key points to all of his strategy for from stealing money from the community. He make it sound real good, but at the end of the day, you giving him $3,500 to do nothing. He's, do,
Exactly.
doing nothing. At the end of the day, he done took your money. At the end of the day, he still haven't gave you any. He hasn't gave you any resources. None of that. No, he ain't showing up to no court dates. He not doing anything. If it don't have anything to do with camera time, he's not showing up. Um, and the thing about it is, people cannot serve him properly because he don't have a stationary business to where he can get served.
Right.
You know, so and we spoke about this on last Thursday. Y'all stop giving this man y'all money. Y'all do y'all research. Y'all do y'all homework. Google is free. Google his name. You know, every news station in Houston has covered stories on him stealing from the community over and over and over and over again. And my thing is, and I've been thinking about this for the past couple of weeks, why haven't nobody pulled his background?
Exactly.
That's my thing.
Because what they're gonna
Good
see,
question.
what they're gonna see is he had an old case. This is his background. He had an old case, a dope case, during the '90s, during all that time of catching folks for crack, one little piece. And what he got was deferred adjudication. For anybody that know, that's a person that has never been in trouble before. They'll give them a chance to do a probation that costs a lot of money, and You got to go to a bunch of programs, and if you do it for 10 years, then they'll seal the record. They won't hold the felony against you, so it won't show on your
Facts,
record. But he did
facts, facts,
10
facts.
years in the system just on probation because of a crime he committed, and the crime was what? Selling drugs, selling one of the most dangerous and deadly and disrespectful drugs in Houston because of what it caused. You know what I'm saying? Then to turn around and say, I'm for the building up of the people. That's a good thing if you want to fix what you did. But if you come in and you start stealing from the people, then you still a dope
Yeah,
boy. You just a different kind. You wear a bow in the tie because you done heard some people speak some beautiful, knowledge about black. And so you want to use that. He's even scamming the Nation of Islam. That's why Farrakhan and them will not represent him or
facts,
say he's a part of him.
facts.
But I tell my people, call him out. Call out the Nation of Islam. Well, and tell them, are y'all gonna stand on business on somebody that's representing themselves as you and doing this to the black community? We call on the Hebrew Israelites. They gonna stand up to him. You know what I'm saying? Call on Derek Muhammad. Call on our other brother Muhammad. Call on those that he sit up and he be in their circles or try to act like he's one of them, but he's fooling the people while they're doing the real work. Call them up and tell them they need to address it because we've already had tribunals. We've had a tribunal for him that was many years ago, and that's why he was disavowed. That's why he was kicked out. So everybody understood that he was kicked out, but he started his own little thing, which they call Rogue, and anybody can. And then they allowed him to show the fruits, you know what I'm saying, of his work, but all his fruits was rotten. And so somebody should have stood up. The citizens shouldn't have to. The victims shouldn't have to. All those people that's in this city of Houston that call themselves community actors that rub necks, with people that are influential, they need to be using all them resources to go after him and hold him accountable. Because as you said, you can never find him. But Brother Ricky Jason said something, and I want everybody, this is a challenge, I want everybody to do this. This is a good method. Fox 26 still employs him. So you damn sure know he has to go there to do those videos. You find that out, just like him and Dick Gregory was willing to stand out there for 5 days, y'all can camp outside Fox 26 and y'all can protest. And just like she doxes everybody and send their information, and people be showing up to y'all jobs and stuff, you got to do the same thing. Show up to Fox 26, and I bet you they'll make it a special. I bet you they'll run them up off that face off if they see the whole community and possibly the world is getting the word that this man has been doing some horrible things. It'll bring a bad light on them, especially if people start protesting Fox 26 news station in Houston. Stop watching it. Oh, yeah, they'll take him down because that's his stage. That's the stage that he's putting himself out there to the whole world like he's just some great guy. You want to kill the snake, you got to chop the head off.
Right. That's right.
I want to bring up something interesting when you mentioned about Google. Myself and another individual did this last week. And it was very interesting. When you Google Quanell X, just that alone, if you don't know the history, what comes up is all this positive shit. And I was blown away. Tried it on my daughter's phone. The friend I was talking to on the phone did it on hers. And it was all this good, like his activism and shit that people wouldn't be able to read into. I had to literally see more, at the bottom of Google, see more. 5 times I had to hit that see more. And then the stories about Quanell started populating about how he is ripping off the community. And I found that disturbing. I was like, I don't know if people can pay for that to be a thing, and you guys are welcome if you want to take the challenge and try it yourself. But I did it with my daughter's phone. I have 2 phones. I tried it, and it was when you have to hit see more 5 times for then the real shit to come up about Quanell, that was really disturbing. So this is why it's important for, I can't call myself a community activist and stay quiet about this. And that's why I think it's important. We need to definitely spread the word of mouth by wildfire, because while we hope Google will do its job, obviously people are going to be fooled. And if you are not plugged into the news or how to research an individual to find out if they're legit or not, all you know is what you see on Google initially, and not enough people are being made aware. And that's why, you know, especially as long, and it hasn't even just been myself, but other brothers have been exposing Quanell, you would think that a lot more people knew and wouldn't fall victim to it. But then you talk to the victims, and a lot of times they don't do their research because they take it at face value. And it's important for us to continue to keep speaking. That's why I'm not going to be silenced. Candace can make all the videos, all the AI images, talk all the shit she wants about me, expose me to whatever degree. You want to put my life on a silver platter and hand it to the world, feel free. But guess what? You're not killing me. You're not going to silence me. And say, for instance, something happens with my case and I do go to jail, right? It doesn't work out for the switch to counties and I go to jail. I'll get out one day. Do you think I'm going to be quiet then? No, you've only pissed me off even more. And you think if I don't advocate for other people, I'm not going to do it for myself? But I'm going to continue to speak for people who are being victimized. And that's the thing, is some of us are born being empaths of the world. That is my position. I don't know. I could never look somebody in the eye and tell them, hey, if anything, this has cost me money to go and fight for other people, you know, paying for parking downtown to go to, you know, John Hernandez's case alone was two trials. First one was a mistrial. We had a protest to keep pressure on the DA to go after him in the second trial. And thankfully we got a conviction. It wasn't long enough. He got 25 years. But, you know, that kind of time and energy, and Sandra Bland, oh my God, I don't know how many trips we took to Waller dealing with those country bumpkins out there. You know, this is something you do. If you've got the heart to do it and the passion to do it, you're going to see it through and make shit happen. You don't just show up for a freaking press conference and disappear and then charge people. And I also want to bring this up too, because this was back in February 2021. If y'all remember, we had the big freeze around that time. I was working with the homeless community downtown thereafter, and there was a whole, this is about the time COVID was still an issue. So if you were arrested and placed in Harris County Jail, you were placed in quarantine for, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. And so it was single man cells. There was a young man by the name of Jakari Simmons who was murdered by a Harris County detention officer there. It was a homeless guy that I knew very well and served out downtown, who literally got out of jail maybe a week later after this guy was murdered, and told me he saw the detention. I mean, Jakari was like 140 pounds soaking wet. And this guy was like over 6 feet tall, big burly white guy, picks Jakari up by the neck and slams him down on the ground and kills this man. So the homeless individual I worked with comes to me and tells me he witnessed this murder. And so I Google and I find Jakari's mother, and that's when she informed me that she had been in touch with Quanell and that he wanted to, I couldn't remember if it was $500, he wanted to charge her to take her case to media. I told her, I said, don't do it. I said, do not do it. I said, first off, nobody should be charged to take your case to media and get the attention that it's needing. She thought about it for a few days, called me back. She said, look, something was within my spirit to not move forward with this man, you know, and I'm like, that's called intuition. So she called Quanell up and tells him that she does not want to use him after all. And she said that he was real smug with her. Well, good luck getting any media time on your case. Well, guess what? Getting her plugged into the right resources, getting the media time. Thank God this detention officer has actually been charged in her son's death. All done for free.
Fact.
And I think about her often because I'm like, she could have been another victim. And that, you know, the mother is going through the pains of losing her child, especially in that manner, and you want to profit off of that. As a community activist, I'm not going to shut up about it. That is wrong. So I'm not going to be silenced. I'm going to continue to speak, you know, and continue to spread the word as best as I can.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when you first seen or heard about your background was cool, what was going through your mind once you seen it or heard about it?
I mean, obviously the first call I made was to my attorney and asked her what was going on. And a few minutes later, she called me back, and that's when she said it's not confirmed, and did state that we're going through the process of the county change. But I'm my first, I laughed, but then I was like, an attempt. When you do this type of work, you subject yourself to the bullshit. When I did my work with other families in the past, I cannot tell you how many times I was harassed by police, shining lights in my window, pulling me over when I was coming home from bringing my kids home from school, being pulled over for bullshit reasons. So I'm used to that. But at the same time, I'm just like, well, obviously I'm doing something right. If you want to go this far, because Candace is posting this not to inform the public about me in that accord, like I'm some dangerous threat. She's doing it for malice. She's doing it with intent to harm. And that is a form of cyberbullying that she's doing. And it is illegal in the state of Texas. I am working with an attorney to bring a case against her, a criminal case, not a civil case. I'm not interested in making money here. I do want to seek justice because we are dealing in a society with people who have built their egos and their personas on social media, right? And they get a false sense of reality while you and I are living in the real world. She has a false sense of reality, and it goes by what her followers say to her. And she has a large following. I'll give her that. However, when you're utilizing your platforms to come for people, the way she's come for me, the way that I've seen her come for the other two defendants in this lawsuit, the way I've seen her come for a friend of mine recently, other people as well, and just posting this shit, you're doing it with malice and intent to harm, and that is illegal in the state of Texas. There's a penal code behind that. So I welcome whatever it is that she's doing, because all she's doing at the end of the day is she's going to end up hurting herself. And if she thinks I'm going to be quiet or if she can silence me, I dealt with too many cops in the past. I don't scare easily.
Exactly. And Samantha says that there's another victim just last week that paid him $3,500 just last week. See, he gonna go as long as he can go, as long as people are willing to give him some money. He gonna keep on telling them he'll do it. And what can you do? You can't stop. You can't stop people from needing some help. You can't stop people from going to Google and looking for some help. You can't change Google pages to show his bad stuff, and that's why everybody needs to collectively come together and turn this issue viral. And that coming together, it will work outside of Fox 26. That is the only place you can link him to. And just like, people go outside of people's businesses when the business is doing something wrong, well, hell, we need to hold Fox 26 Houston accountable for putting him out there and constantly letting him fish for victims. As long as what he's saying up there is hypocritical, because he's not a voice for the black community. He's actually ousted by the black community. As long as they allow him to do that, you're going to keep getting new victims. And what y'all going to do is you're going to call him, and then when you call back, he's not going to answer. And if you call from another number that he doesn't recognize, he'll answer, and then he's going to get mad at you. And that's the common action of those people when they know that they ain't no good. We all do it too. We get defensive when we know we done did something wrong and we called out on it. So what'd he do? When the sister called him back, she wasn't no longer a great black sister. She was somebody that's getting on his nerve. You didn't do all that to take their money. You didn't show no attitude when taking those people money, but when they ask you for it, you show attitude. That's his way to get up out of whatever, con that he done got caught in by answering the phone, knowing he just hung yours up. So all of these things, like she said, is criminal, and we don't we don't have no control over it. But what they doing, trust me, y'all, like she said, they setting themselves up. Every time you get some money from these people, the amount goes higher and higher until they reach a certain level, and then they, have those alphabet folks come in. When they come in, They gonna dig
Yeah.
into everything about him, way more than he wanted. But guess what? He did that to themselves, screaming to people that they could do stuff, and they can't. This is the real world, y'all. You know, we got enough people on TV telling us about how much money they can get us in a goddamn car accident, and when you get in one, you see you ain't getting nowhere near that shit. You ain't getting rich. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Don't call
Right.
that when you get hit. You dig what I'm saying? It's a lot
Right.
of them scammers we got to deal with. We don't need people that are really playing on us during our most hurtful moments, because nobody's going to think straight, man. They're going to give it up. And by the time they know it, you know, he's gone with it. He's, like I tell people, he's going to be right around the corner. Scammer ain't going to return your money. They using it for that day to get by. You know, as soon as they got it, around the corner, some of it's spent. You know, so everybody collectively, you know, if y'all want to do this, you know, we can do it. But we have to stand together, because too many people have been standing alone and been screaming it.
That's the
You got a
problem.
million people screaming it, but they screaming it alone. If you can bring them voices together collectively, then they'll make a harmonious sound, and they'll
Right.
listen, and they won't have no choice but to do it, because we've done it with everybody else.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, you definitely right about that. Cornell, he needs to be held accountable, and um see me myself, you know, I did a lot of my wrong when I was younger. So it was always my thing to go back since I helped fuck up the community. It was one of my duties to go back and give back to the community, you know what I'm saying, every year, throughout the year. You feel what I'm saying? Because I owe the community that, you know, and that's how I look at shit. But if you have been scamming people and taking the poor folks' money, oh, I wouldn't say poor, I would say less fortunate folks' money, and you're still doing it, and you're still doing it, and you're still. But the thing about it is, you're gonna have to stop one day, or somebody is going to stop you. You feel what I'm saying? And this the thing about it. People walking around stealing folks' money, playing on the internet and all of that old shit. Y'all ain't thinking about y'all families. You don't think nobody will fuck up y'all family because y'all done stole somebody's money? You don't think nobody will target y'all kids? Your mama, your daddy, your nephew, somebody that you love? This shit is not a game. People don't have money
Right.
to have a motherfucker stealing their money, and they trying to get results for their family member, for themselves. The shit is sad. The shit is sickening. And I wouldn't even want to connect myself with nobody that's been stealing money from the community like it ain't shit. Just
Absolutely.
stealing like it ain't shit. Like, oh, you just untouchable. No, man, because the thing about it, in the society that we live in right now, man, the motherfucker don't give a fuck if you with your kids or not.
Mm.
Because they gonna shoot your ass or do whatever the fuck they got on their mind to do to you. So that's something to think about for everybody that want to get on the internet playing games.
Right.
Because Houston is too small for that shit. Your ass gonna get seen somewhere. And you better hope that you don't have any one of your family members with you. Because now you putting innocent people in danger because of the stupidity actions of trying to prove a point on social media. That shit is weak. That shit is weak as fuck. And that's why I said last week, we need new leadership in Houston, Texas.
Oh my
We
God.
need new
Yeah.
leadership in Houston, Texas. So it's up to us to gather everybody together. And then for this slipped my mind, and this what I've been thinking about, you know, for the past few weeks is Cornell affiliated with the Texas Black Coalition of the state of Texas. You know, because nobody from the Texas Black Coalition is saying a motherfucking thing. They just
Right.
ain't nobody saying
Right.
shit. Nobody's saying shit. So if Cornell is ways around the Texas Black Coalition of Democrats. We need to start getting voting us some more Democrats in there, or we need to start supporting the Republicans that really do give a damn about our community. And saying that's the thing. Don't nobody that, and the thing about it is, from what I noticed, the Democratic Party, as well as the Republican Party, don't like to work together a lot to resolve issues.
True.
You know, and as far as looking at the Democratic Party, you can see a lot of clown shit going on. It, it's a motherfucking circus. It's a circus.
A lot of
There's
selling dreams, man.
there, there's nothing getting resolved in our community. The resources are very limited because a lot of these activists that are out here, they don't even have resources.
Right.
None. None. They don't have any resources. So we have to get everybody on one accord and to really make a difference. Because, and I say the Democratic Party ain't doing shit but a whole bunch of fucking clown shit that's going on. Just look at our communities. Look at
Right.
Hey, critical.
look at Trinity Garden. Look at Trinity Garden. Look at Acres Home. Look at Third Ward. Look at Fifth Ward. Our communities are fucked up, but these activists are capitalizing off the less fortunate in our community.
Exactly. We had cancer clusters in Fifth Ward, and we had to
Yep.
go out there and knock at the doors to the neighbors to get the samples so that they can, test the soil. All the
Facts.
community activists didn't show up. All of them that show up on TV, they didn't come out there to do no real footwork. You know what I'm saying? So the leadership, that leadership, that name right there, that's the most important. Everybody in Houston that is doing right, y'all are all the leaders. We can't have just one specific because that one specific is going off of their one agenda. We all have to have a protocol that we unite under, when we say we're doing stuff
Right.
for the community. And so that the people will feel safe. It is our job, our responsibility, to
Mm-hmm.
represent Houston the right way and make sure the world know we represent it the right way. And this is how we do it, man. We gotta use our voices collectively together. We see some people in the audience that are with it. So all the rest of y'all, this is the time you can stand up and be ready to go crazy when police do something that hurt us. When one of these politicians or somebody, some situation, goes wrong, we ready to do that. We know we in a time right now where it seems like they waiting on us to, get civilly unrested, over politics. But instead,
Facts.
we can use that same strength that we want to do, and we can bring the awareness to these clowns that are down here fooling our people. So the call has been made. We appreciate our guests. We appreciate all y'all in the audience. But like we always say, man, you got to make it do what it do. Because if you don't, it ain't nothing gonna get done. So all
Thanks.
y'all that's really about it, this is the all call. This is the protest. All y'all that want to be a part of something great, all of y'all that have the skills, this is what we need to do. We need to all come together and use all our forces, like we would scream for injustices from this legal system. This is an injustice that's affecting all of us. These scammers out here, and we can all come and say their name and get them the fame that they want. But hey, man, that's what it is on Monday Night Raw. This Slick Talk.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Power to
Yes,
you.
same to y'all. First, I want to tell you, um, critical, my condolences on the loss of your grandmother. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make the funeral, but I got
Okay.
heart issues.
Thank
But I want to applaud Shannon Dory for coming on to the show and speaking up. Sharon, she's been doing a lot of work in the community. She don't ask for nothing. and she just get out there and do her thing.
Correct.
She's been in jail many times because she's out there trying to make sure that people eat, and they were taken out of jail for it.
Facts.
So it's a lot that people don't understand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you know us be people in the community, and now it's time to start attacking the parties. The parties that's allowing people to be on these platforms and do the stuff that they're doing. I don't care that you put my face out on social media. I don't care that you put, because anything out there about me. Because here's the thing, it takes a hell of a lot less to spread a lie, and it takes a lot longer to smother it out than it does the truth to catch
Right.
ground and go.
Promise.
Yeah.
Promise.
When
That,
when we do things in the community, we do it because we are really servants and you enjoy what you do. If I know something, then I'm going to help you. And my resources might not be as strong as
fact.
Miss Dory's, but guess what?
Fact.
I'm gonna pick up the phone and call her because she's another activist. I'm like, hey, I got this situation. Can you help me? You got some
Hey,
resources.
that's how
That's
we
what
do.
you do. You don't charge people nothing. But only
Sad.
thing it costs is a little time. But
Shit.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
you said a mouthful. It's holding these parties accountable. Where is Symphonia Thompson at?
Exactly.
Yes, because she haven't done
You
nothing.
know, the
Nothing. Because
Miss
our
the Yellow
community,
Rose of
or
Texas. The Yellow
uh-huh.
Rose of Texas. What
Yeah.
have you done besides lie to these elderly people in the community
Mm.
about what
Fact.
you gonna do?
Facts.
And run from me when we trying to talk to you and trying to get something going on. But see, what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna take nobody kids because kids are off limits. They are they are an extension of you as an individual and as a parent. But they not out here in these trenches doing what you doing.
Mm-hmm. Real talk.
So you don't get to attack my kids. You don't get to put my
Fact.
kids in your mouth. That's where you messed up. Facts on facts. Every time
Yeah.
and I tell people, no, I'm not finna attack nobody kids. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna keep it
Mhm.
100 with you about what it is. But we not
Facts.
finna do no attacking of no kids because they don't have nothing to do with the actions of their parents. What
Yeah.
you got, the sins of a father, the sins of a mother? No. Let's keep it 100. I'm a parent, and I don't want nobody coming for
Yeah.
my kids, especially if my kids ain't on the platform working with me. You, you know
Yeah.
that's not fair to them. You
Yeah.
know,
And you know, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to know, I just want people to know that at the end of the day, it's about the work that we do in the community. All of us, and Brother Amelia, he right. We all need to come together. And look, this is what community activism looks like. This is what this person has. We work off each other's strengths. And that's how we get
Fact.
things done in the community. When you love your community, you do what you need to do to make it better. You hold people
Fact.
accountable. It doesn't matter where they are. There's no reason for you to do cyberbullying. It's two things I can't stand. That's a bully and a mean girl. I can't
Mm.
stand it. And you on a platform and you should be doing better. But guess what? Anything that a person does, regardless, you can't beat me telling my story better than I can. And
Yeah. That's true.
people want to know, well, why she not the police no more? I promise you, it ain't cause I got fired.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got nothing dirty in my jackets.
Mm-hmm.
People want to know why
Mm-hmm.
she not an Eastern Star no more. I am an Eastern Star. But see, they're not gonna put it out there that the error on their part. I had been eating and they never been back. So how you
Mm-hmm.
can't put somebody out of something that they was never in?
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
everything that I do is above 100. So if you want to know something about me, you pick up the phone and call me or shoot me an inbox message and you ask me, I saw such and such, what's going on with that? I can tell you my story. Just like it was put out that Aubrey Taylor Aubrey Taylor was having some type of freaky affair. Let me tell you something. And I told Aubrey Taylor from where it go, I never, ever, ever desire my friendship with you. I don't give a damn what side of the table we sit on. We all could go round and round. I done picked up the phone and called this man in the middle. Dude, what is this you done posted? He talking about, well, this and this and that. Okay. But I told him straight face up, fake 10 toes down. I will never deny our friendship. And everybody knows that I call my daughters my butterflies. So it's not something unusual if Aubrey say how your butterflies doing. Because guess what? It's not one person that's that's Facebook friends with me that don't know that I call my daughters my butterflies. And when they ask, because some of them don't know their names, they say, how your butterflies doing? They turning into mouse right now. They working my nerves. So I just keep it 100. You know, we got people out here stealing people's houses in our black communities, doing
Oh
fake
yeah.
airship affidavits, doing fake deeds. But guess what? We can't even get HPD to look at it. They say cyber and financial crimes is so bagged up. Hell, they might not get to your case until 4 years down the road. But guess what didn't happen? What happened to the elderly lady that done lost her house now? Because because you step over there. What happened to being able to get in touch with the district attorney, but the one that we voted for because you asked for our votes and said you was going to do better than Kim Ogg, but now can't nobody reach you. When, cyberbullying is real. It's real. We have young kids that don't have the thick skin that we have. And they out here killing themselves, committing suicide. Cherie Dory, let me tell you, I done seen this woman put in work. I seen you put in work. I done stood by you put in work. How dare
Facts.
somebody go out here and just you manipulate a system? But
Right.
see, sometimes people try to operate in the gray area, but I operate in the black and white. And so I hold the people accountable that won't hold those people accountable. I want you
Mm-hmm.
behind out of the office. If you're not going to do the work for the community, you fired. You're fired. You're fired. We don't need your activism. We don't need you calling and coming and asking us for votes when it's time for elections to show. We don't need you.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we're going to put
Yeah.
somebody in there that's going to do the work.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
right.
that's just what it is. That's what it is. And I tell
Yeah.
people, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you an explanation about my life. But when you send for me and I ain't
Yeah.
called for you, you done messed up the church's money. Because I ain't scary. I'm not going to
Yeah.
keep my mouth closed about the fact that you out here bullying people. I'm not going to keep my mouth closed about the fact that you out here making up stuff about people. I'm not going to keep the fact that my mouth closed that you
Do
had my car stolen, that I paid for. You had my car
do
stolen
do
and
you
I done ran the receipts to some people. Facts, but this person is a fact checker. You're a receipt checker. No, you're not. You're a dang on bully. You're a
Yes.
hot dog and bully. That's what you are. You're a hot dog bully, and we want you off the platform. You've been fired, ma'am, and we're gonna make sure you're fired. We want you
you know
criminally, and we want
and
you.
that's the
That's the thing. I want you off the platform, period. And that means if I got to hit every organization that you are affiliated with and hold them accountable, I promise you, you didn't hit a hornet's nest with me. And it ain't just me coming. I'm telling you that now. You said if it see me inside, I better not come outside. I'll be outside and dropping locations like they hot pieces of pancake.
you chopping up real bad.
Um, I said, I'll be outside. You tell me you better not catch me outside. I'll be dropping locations like it's pancakes. I'm outside. I'm not finna stop coming outside. I'm not finna stop doing what I need to do for the people in the community because you got your ego rubbed the wrong way because
Right.
you out here stealing people money. You're not following through. You're not. And I have to say this, when the person first started out, I was all for them. I was like, they doing good work in the community. They doing good work, good
Yep.
work, good work. And I was right there
Right.
by their side. You pull up, you shoot me something. I'm gonna pull up to the press conference with you. Let's make this
Well,
happen.
you talking about the Texas Coalition?
Yep. And then on top of that, let me just set the record straight for some people in the back room. For the little amen committee that ain't on our side. I was and the former president for the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats out of Montgomery County. I had a secretary, a vice president, and a treasurer. And by the way, Terrence Shanks, who was over in Harris County, was at a lot of our meetings. See, people just only go according to what they hear. They don't, and see, Candace would never come out there, but Terrence Shanks did. So I'm gonna put it out there. So when you needed me over here, I came. But when I needed you out there, and I was under the leadership of Carol Robinson. So let's get that clear. So I don't even understand what all of these letters are floating out here about, because I have came and stood next to people on the platform with my Texas Coalition jacket on that says
Yeah,
President of Montgomery County. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't just make up stuff. It's
yeah.
just about us, huh?
You know,
What you
and
say?
that's the thing. That, and seeing this the thing, and the only way that we're gonna correct a lot of fucked up shit in our community when it comes to voting this go around, target the Texas Democratic Party.
Yep.
Because again, look at our communities. Our communities has been fucked up. It's been fucked up for too long, for over 30 years, and nothing has still been done. But we still have these same motherfucking people sitting in those seats, not
But
doing a
they so
damn
and
thing.
they so senior. And here's the thing: we got one represent. You would think that we got this one state representative, Rep. Ron Reynolds, because he shows up to everything. But he
Yeah,
cannot.
he
You and
doing
I,
his thing.
yeah,
That's
you and
one
I
thing
had this
about him.
conversation. That man,
Yes,
I
Mr. Reynolds
swear to
doing his
God, he
thing.
got a twin. He got triplets. He be everywhere at any time.
Yes,
He gonna pull
yes,
up, and
yes,
it ain't even in his
yes.
district, but he pulling up.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then gonna go
Yeah,
to Austin and gonna go to DC and fight for you.
that's right. That's
Hmm.
right. Salute to Mr. Reynolds because he definitely on his shit. You know, and just like you said, Mr. Reynolds is
He
everywhere. I don't
everywhere.
give a damn. Mr. Reynolds is everywhere taking care of business, and that's what you do when you get in the seat. You want to see people working.
Putting in the
You
work.
want to see. Yes,
Man,
yes, yes.
Sharik, how many times did you get arrested out there after they passed that city ordinance? I know over 50 times, huh?
No, no. Okay, just to give a quick background on that. So I was affiliated with a group called Food Not Bombs who just celebrated their 31st anniversary yesterday, feeding the homeless 4 nights a week, vegetarian food. Um, the group, I've been participating with them for 13 years alone, and the city of Houston, majority Democrats, back in 2012, made it illegal to feed Houston's homeless without permission from the city. Now, that's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I'm not going to ask my government for permission to feed somebody who is hungry. So this
Right.
group has been very um, uh, combined together to fight the city. It was under Mayor Turner back in March of 2023 that they started issuing citations to us. Each night that we had a food
Citations.
sharing, a police officer was out there, and one volunteer got a ticket. I hold 18 of the 96 tickets that the group has gotten. We filed a federal lawsuit against the city. We got a temporary restraining order, which prohibits the police from giving us any more tickets. And so far, the group is on the winning side of this lawsuit against the city, which I'm very, very proud of. So I want to make sure that I've never been arrested for feeding the homeless, but I have received 18 tickets for doing just that. And I've addressed Mayor Turner, you know, when he was mayor in City Hall, physically going up there and addressing him in City Council. There were seven, by this time we had received 40 something tickets, and some of us were already going to court. A judge dismissed 7 of my tickets, and within 24 hours, the mayor and the city attorney decided to go back and refile all 7 of those tickets against me, cases against me again. And that's when it kind of showed me how personal this was for the mayor. You know, because if you already had 40 some odd tickets in the system clogging up the courts, why would you go back and refile 7 if this wasn't personal for him? Because I have been on Mayor Turner's neck forever in regards to anti-homeless laws, anti-panhandling laws, anti-encampment ordinances, and now Mayor Whitmire is actually proceeding with these same types of behaviors, giving homeless people tickets for merely being in public space. And I've been vocal, and I will continue to be vocal about that because the homelessness is my passion. So yeah, I wanted to clarify, I've never been arrested for that, but I have received 18 tickets for feeding the homeless.
Okay. Yeah. You know, and shit, I take the 18. Shit, I take 118. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, for doing the right thing. You know,
right.
and that's the thing about it. You know, these so-called activists, you never see them out feeding the community. You never see these so-called activists out
No,
putting events together for our community and
no,
for the city. You never see these so-called activists do anything in the community. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking on attaching yourself to what somebody else is going on. What's wrong with your feet? What's wrong with your hands? Why you haven't put your own money or put together a nonprofit since you know everybody like the TV time and all of this old type of shit? Why y'all haven't did anything for our community?
right. Well, I hope to never see her out amongst the homeless community. I mean, you want to come for me and talking about an eviction I got 10 years ago. I was a single mother to twins. Life happens. You know, you lose jobs, shit happens in life. And you want to sit there and condemn me for something that took place over a decade ago, but then you want to stand around the homeless with another group and homeless people passing you by in the background, people whose names I know personally, but you wouldn't even condescend to actually speak to because it's about photo ops or video time for yourself to make it look like you give a shit about them. But you ain't standing side by side with me to confront the mayor or city council leaders in regards to them criminalizing the homeless. And let's talk about the eviction rate that is like going through the roof in Harris County and how many more people are going to be out on the streets. And majority of homeless people that are out on the streets are minorities. Most of them are black men. So you know, you want to talk about being for your people. Why aren't you standing side by side with some of us to fight back against, you know, the city where it concerns the most vulnerable population? And I'm not seeing any of that done. Instead, you want to spend, you know, and that's the thing about Candace is all this time that she is utilizing to come after me, to come after Angela, to come after Samantha and Jason and Jemiah and, you know, others could have been good energy that you could have utilized and put back into your community or something you could have done to help somebody else. Like she is a walking ball of negative energy, and I don't know if the sister needs a sage to get some sage around her or what, but the continued efforts to cyberbully, try to intimidate people into being silenced, all the time she made 4 different videos of me and all the photos she made of me could have been utilized towards putting something good into your community. But instead, you worried about me or Samantha or Mr. Jason or Jemiah or Miss Angela here, you know, and that tells me your character right then and there. And, you know, I'm not surrounding myself with negative people like that. We got too much going on in the world. One day I will leave this planet, and I at least want to leave a legacy, if anything, for my kids to be proud of, that I
Fact.
actually did what I could while I was on this planet. Did I make mistakes in my past? Yes. Did I have hardships in my past? Absolutely. But let's remember this is also, I'm sorry, now I'm getting mad.
Yeah.
This is also the same Candace who
No.
was
Yeah. All
crying
right.
about people not supporting this gentleman from the turkey leg hut who's federally charged with arson and how people weren't pulling up for him and supporting him. Or how one of her good friends, who I will not name in this, but is a very well-known person in Houston who has a huge social media following, is also a convicted violent criminal. And I believe that people can change. Of course, people do
Fact,
fuck up in life.
fact,
But when
fact.
you don't afford that opportunity to other people and you utilize your social media platform to come for other people because they made a comment, you call them a hater. No, I don't. I'm not a hater. I just don't like the way you move. And if I speak up about that or laugh at somebody's comment that made a negative statement about you and you take that so personal that you got to come for me or come for other people, you know, you don't need to be having a social media then. Because by this time now you are a cyber bully. You're in the comments fanning the flames. And you want to get out there and play victim at the end of the day like, "Oh, I don't know why. Are you kidding me?" So no, I'm not going to stay silent. This is too important to me. Taking from victims. I cannot call myself a community activist if I'm just going to stand quiet and be complacent in what I know that these individuals are doing. And I'm sorry, I guess you didn't do enough research on me to know that I'm not going to be quiet.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, because it's one thing that our people and our community are already afraid. They're already afraid of the white man. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know, and then it's even worse to have our black people in position and then to these so-called activists, try to scare and manipulate our people of our community.
Right.
That shit, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. But election time, everybody, oh, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. No, because throughout all of these years,
Mm-hmm.
throughout all of these seasons, what have y'all done for the community? But y'all want the community to waste their gas money or they bus fare,
Right.
walking through the heat, driving in the heat, standing in long lines to vote for a motherfucker who ain't doing
Who
shit
don't
for
who
us?
you don't
Uh,
even have but here's the killer part. You as a constituent don't have access to them after they get in office. You call their office, whether it's in Austin or whether it's right there in their district. They not returning your calls. You call them several times. And it's when you roll up on them and they at an event, then they in such a hurry that they can't talk to you. So why am so now you've been held accountable. It's about change now, and people are tired of it. People are
right.
tired. I'm like, don't come ask me for my vote. Where the hell were you at when Hurricane Burrow came through? And I didn't see you
Man,
walking through the. I didn't see you walking through the neighborhood.
man,
I didn't see it's over there where I was living at on
man,
Burtwood. People, it was lumber.
man,
I was out there cutting my trees myself. Critical, I'm talking to you
man,
on the phone. I done went and got me my own saw thing
yep,
for me to cut the trees and the lumber that was the trees that had fell in my yard.
yeah, and that was sad doing Burrow, you know, uh, it wasn't any activists walking around the city with no camera crews. They didn't bring no camera crews. They didn't let the news stations or the higher officials that at the news stations or in Austin, that the people out here in the community are really hurting.
Right.
But I can guarantee you one thing: in those suburbs, in those white neighborhoods, they had camera time. It's footage of camera time.
Mhm.
They letting they letting the news people
Right.
know. But our black so-called activists wasn't nowhere to be found.
And
It wasn't no press conferences. It wasn't any of that shit. Nothing.
but you
Not
but
nothing.
you know what? Here's I'm gonna tell you what I said to somebody earlier today. I said the reason if we as we pluck and Sherry, you can tell me this. We can pluck the cancer out of the activist community. But the reason it continues to grows and it festers is because that's all they see. So if you have a commercial that you watch it 10 times over again, it's going to take you at least 20 times to remember the jingle that goes with it. So if we don't put anything in the community to when we remove what we see on TV every time there's a damn press conference, then guess what? They're going to keep going back. So therefore, that's what I agree with Brother Emmanuel, and with Critical, we have got to pull together in the community. We live and we work off each other's strengths. Like I do a lot of stuff. Critical, no, I done call Critical many days and be like, yeah, I gotta do this. How you think, and guess what? I'm a single parent. You know that, of two beautiful butterflies that I know you've watched them grow up on social media. And so I'm still trying to do it. I done been
Yeah.
homeless. I done been evicted. I had a ticket for not paying some tolls a few years ago, but it wasn't because I didn't want to pay them.
Yeah,
You
facts.
know,
Facts.
I had two total knee replacements, so I couldn't go back to policing when I wanted to go back. So I'm just not able to go back to work. But right now, the way I'm moving, I'm trying to figure out, is that even is that really where I need to be? Because guess what? In the interim of everything that's going on, it's not nothing that I do without praying and talking to God about it first. So,
That's
Right.
right.
and one my nana friend told me this when I called him and told him what was going on and the stuff that I was dealing with. He say, Ange, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. He say, you live, but he say you're a public figure. I said, I never looked at myself as a public figure. And he say, but you are. He say, because you be out there helping people. He say, people know your name. He say, they know who you are.
Facts.
He said people know your work. He said that makes you a public figure. I say, well, okay, if you say so. He say right now, he
Facts.
say part of what you do, and I have to agree with you, Cherie, is that we really live in a glass house. We, but if you for me, I'm legitimate stuff. Don't come for me because your fucking feelings hurt. Excuse my expression, y'all. Your feelings hurt. Now you sensitive, and you don't want nobody to talk about you. But
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've seen if you're gonna hold politicians accountable, do what you started doing. You started out holding these people accountable, which I thought it was amazing. Okay, but you don't get to drag people's personal, even the politicians, into the political arena because they still are allowed to have a private life just like the rest of us. If it's not
Absolutely.
affecting their work, why are
Right.
you coming for people? That's not that speaks to your character and your integrity. And for me, I have a lot of people that they want to protect me, but I'm like, I ain't never been scared to say what I had to say. But what
Facts.
what bothers me is I'm gonna tell you is that my daughters can't even come home right now because somebody followed me home the other day. Them facts.
Mm-hmm.
Them
Facts.
facts. I had to have a
Mm-hmm.
I had to have a constable escort me on to the house because of this foolishness of being doxxed on social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting folks addresses and stuff on the
Yeah.
internet. That's the most ridiculous thing because the thing about it, you know, it's not hard to find out anybody's address.
Right.
You
Right.
feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So people have to be careful because just like you researching and putting other people's addresses on there, people may already know your address. People may be waiting at your house or down the street. You know what I'm saying? Or at the corner store around the corner.
Nothing was
You,
thought
you feel what
about
I'm saying?
nothing was thought about the fact that I have children. It was none of that was thought about
You,
that
you
I have
know,
kids.
They don't
you
care.
know, and somebody brought this to my attention 2 weeks ago because because this person was like, well, isn't she an advocate for children? So why was, the ladies, um, girls brought into the situation and why was, her car towed, from malicious acts. You
Right.
know, and that stayed with me all the way to now when I'm like, they got a point. Because if you're for the kids, you're for the kids.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't care if you and this grown ass person are into it. Those kids don't have shit to do with nothing.
And my daughter has a heart condition, and she also suffers with another condition called Slaughters, right? So when the night that my car was stolen out of my private garage, where the property where I live at, the next day my daughter had an appointment with her cardiologist. My daughter missed school.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't go to her cardiologist appointment so they could read the monitor that's for her heart.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter stayed home. My daughter stayed home. So I need y'all to understand that I'm not playing no games about my kids. That's what I'm not going to play with. I'll dance with the devil all day long when it's just me and you. But when it comes to my kids, I'm not a Michelle Obama. Just know that.
Right.
And so I stay quiet for a reason. Because, see, what she's done is very illegal. And she thinks she's
Yes.
untouchable. But she's
Right.
very touchable. And I'm talking about legal aspect wise. Because
Mm-hmm.
I would never, when you got to think about some things. I'm affiliated with a lot of different organizations. And I'm very proud of those organizations that I'm a part of. That's why the night that I did that podcast, I had to go back and set out a public statement and apologize, especially to Critical and to the people of the community, because I really was, it got real heated. And one thing I don't want is for people to feel like I'm not in control. And when you do, when you get into a situation like that, you and with the cursing and you going back and forth with someone, the message that you're trying to convey gets lost because of the vernaculars that you're using. And so people, all they hear is the curse words. They're not hearing the message anymore. The message that we want to relay to the community is that you don't have to be afraid. If she's done something to you, if someone has done something to you, whether it is a politician who wants to speak out, but it's fair because now you have access to go and try to pull everybody's background. So that's how you finding out all of this stuff through certain entities that you're actually in bed with. So don't be afraid. You pick up the phone and you call one of us. That's what we do. We're not going to go after you oh, well, you're a politician and you did this. No, you still have a life. People in the community, listen to me well when I tell you this. Do not have to be afraid to speak up and speak out. If you don't like it, say something. It's a bunch of us out here, and I want to tell the community, thank you all for the people who have stepped up, for the people who have came to my aid. Even because when you do the work, like we do the work, people speak up for you. You don't have to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, but don't get it
We have.
twisted, Angela. There are individuals that play both sides of the coin very well. They butter up to you
Facts.
to get
Facts.
information, only
Oh,
to take that
attention. I
information
pay
back.
attention.
Oh no,
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you on that.
I definitely pay attention to that, because I see a few individuals that, try to play both sides of the fence, and I'm aware of
Mhm.
that. I'm far from dumb. I just don't say nothing until it's time for me to say something.
Right.
Right.
You know, uh, but I want to get into Roshan Justice Journey said every person incarcerated on probation or parole, convicted or not always guilty of what they are accused of. Sometimes we are just too poor to pay for our innocence, which is long story short, we are the only ones that always need to change. It is predatory system that needs to change, and individuals need to stop using criminal records to degrade someone that was my skin. And that's because we can't keep, person background to humiliate them, and all of the foolishness. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
seeing this a lot, and I'm seeing this too much, because our so-called leaders are not even leading. They are here with a clown show putting on for social media. And that shit is very weak. That shit is very
Right.
weak. How many times have y'all seen, these activists go head to head with these crooked ass laws? Or to be front and center, calling a mayor out, or front and center calling a governor out. You don't see them
Nope.
doing
No.
anything but attacking our people of the community.
Facts. Facts. But again, that we as the people in the as activists or advocates in the community have to come together as a coalition. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are truly trying to really help people. You can't just. It's not an I thing. There's no such thing. There's no I in team, but there are
No.
a couple of I's in coalition. I can help my brother. I can help my sister. Let me help. Let me pull you up over here. Like, you don't know. I know some attorneys. Cherie, I know you know some attorneys.
Oh yeah.
And here again, we have people that have social injustices, civil rights issues that have been violated, people who have been wrongly convicted and have done some time. But guess what?
Right.
I don't know an appellate. I don't know an appellate attorney, but you might know one.
Right.
But we know enough attorneys to be like, hey, can you work with our organization? Can you at least hear the case out? Because guess what I found out? Those people of the Innocent Project, they pick and choose and they offer funding. And it be people that really need their help and they can't get the help that they need because they don't
Right.
the Innocent Project is a joke to me. But therefore, that's why we have to build our own coalition and put those same resources there. And when we do it off of fundraising, how do we help the people? I don't have money for an attorney. I'm a single parent. So I got to go work extra jobs. I'm paying for an attorney for somebody, for a lady for the
Mm-hmm.
house, for a house. Run the receipts, I got them. But we trying to get this woman served, and she running like Forrest Gump, baby. We want
Yeah.
you in court. We want you to prove who you are, who you say you are.
Yeah, that's facts.
But
Facts.
and this is happening in our Black communities. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
happening in Trinity Garden, Rosewood, City Gas, East
Fact.
Houston. It's happening in Acres Home. And people are getting lost because you know how much it costs, how much money it costs for you to take somebody to probate court. Not one
Mm.
attorney I know is starting to take that case for under 10 racks. So you think
Yeah.
about you done went and you done stole somebody property, some elderly person property. Because
Mm-hmm.
that person that got sick, they done had a stroke. They weren't able to do what they needed to do. So now they find out that the house that they was willed to because they couldn't get it probated because they got sick. Somebody else that came in and did a forged deed on it. Then somebody else that came in and did a forged airship affidavit on it. And now you got me trying to help you. But you're on a limited
Facts.
income. And it's my money. My money that's helping now. But see, people don't
Mm-hmm.
talk about that. You don't hear me talk about that. I'm just gonna do what I need to do to make
Mm-hmm.
it happen. So you're gonna be held accountable. The one thing that I can say that Candace Denise Matthews did right, that was start the accountability. That was to get people to see about holding people accountable. She said, I am over the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, the chairperson for the accountability. And I was 100% on board. And when I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
figuring out, I was like, bet. I said, you know what? She on to something, holding these people accountable. But
Yes.
but now, who's holding you accountable?
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
boat you built. Now you trying to sink it. You done got us all on the boat of accountability, but now you want to put holes in the boat. But see, we swimmers. We are
Yeah.
swimmers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We fish. We not crabs.
Well, I will
Hmm.
say this to those of you who have been recently cyberbullied by Candace, just make sure that you guard your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's something else that I think is never really discussed is when people go through this accord of cyberbullying with a large following, lack of accountability, utilizing their social medias to try to tear you down. So, like, are these people are not going to be happy until one of their unhinged followers cut? Like, I had another social media presence
Yeah.
I brought up earlier, made a video about me a couple of weeks ago because I went to a certain group and kind of warned them about this individual who is known to work with police and a Trump supporter, honestly. Made a video about me talking about taking legal action against me. I was accused of punching a police horse at an anti-Trump protest. Not this. This story is 9 years old, and they continue. Herself and Candace continue to spin this narrative. Now people love animals. It's a false accusation that was made by HPE. I was told 30 minutes before I got arrested that night. 7 of us got arrested that night that I was going to get arrested, and then I get arrested. My crime, stepping off of the sidewalk into the street to look down and wonder why the cops weren't allowing our group to cross at a green light. And a horse came at me full blown. Now, if I punched a police horse, I had no sprained wrist, fingers, nothing like that. I went back like that, jumped back on the curb, and the next thing you know, I'm arrested, and then it's all over the news that I punched a police horse. And this is the narrative that Candace is spinning and this other individual is spinning. I started receiving death threats from people because you know how much people love animals, and I get that. I'm an animal lover myself. But when you're fanning the flames in the comments and you're bluntly making up bullshit to fit your own narrative,
Right.
um, one woman actually threatened to seek me out downtown and bash my fucking face in. Those were the words verbatim. I will seek you out downtown and bash your fucking face in. So it told me that this woman's done her homework because that's where I do my homeless work is downtown. So you know where I'm at. And because you want to run with a narrative that somebody else online gave you, now you're making actual threats towards me. And I take those very serious
Mm-hmm.
because, for one, who perpetuated that was the social media persona. But then, secondly, when you're in the comments fanning the flames, you're pissing people off and getting them riled up. You're putting
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
life at risk. And my children do come with me. They're grown, but they come with me to work with the homeless community as well. So you're putting me at risk. And then she took it a step further and said that she was going to dox my daughter, who has nothing to do with this, and go up to her job. And that's why I'm saying we need to start holding these individuals accountable for their social media presence and the cyberbullying that they do, and then the intent of harm is where I have a problem. You're not putting this out there as a PSA to the community. You're putting this out there because you think I'm a hater or you don't like me or you don't like what I'm saying. And I will be very vocal and say, I don't post about these women all the time. I really don't. I don't have time for that. But then you put my life in danger. And that's where I'm going to say, you know what you're doing is like with Candace posting our physical addresses the way that she did, you know, you did it with malicious intent. You want to harm somebody. And I don't know if these people are going to be happy until somebody is dead because of one of their unhinged followers
Right.
or somebody commits suicide. That is a very real thing when you weigh down on people's mental health, especially when you start hitting below the belt and bringing up their kids and loved ones and stuff like that. What's it going to take for these people to be woken up and told that this is not acceptable? And sadly, a lot of people are quiet about
Right.
this. And I have
But I
a
think they're
problem with that.
afraid, though, Sherry. I think they're afraid. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you were posting your badge, if you were posting a badge all on social media. I was a police officer. What if I was out there and I'm doing cyberbullying, but I'm no longer the police, but I have a citizen badge and I'm out there posting it all up on social media and saying on the top of it, when you know what it is, and you know what it is. No, we don't know what it is, because to me that's still official oppression under the color of the badge. And not to mention the fact it's not you, you're not even the police. So that
Right.
should be double right there for you. And so yeah, I'm like, no, unhinged people have no place on this platform or in our community trying to speak for us as
Right.
individuals. And I'm like, I'm a private citizen right now. That's what I was thinking in my mind. But until Thursday of last week, when this guy pulled up on the side of me and said, "Yeah, you that was out on social media. Yeah, you the one from Waller County that arrested." Hold on, boy, I don't even know you. But you know how many people I
Right.
Mm-hmm.
have arrested?
Right.
You know
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time since I have been out of my career that I was so shaken that I was crying uncontrollably. And I said, my ex-husband and I had a conversation. And he said, "I'm going to need you to handle this now. My daughters won't come home." Do you know the man that stole my car from me? He came to my
Mm-hmm.
job where I currently work at. And he told the security guard, he said, "I'm going to get that car anywhere it go." And he said, "You can't come in." He stopped me. He stayed and watched from a block down at my job. When I came home that Monday night, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put all this stuff in the car so I don't forget it tomorrow." Was able to put stuff in the car, but guess what else is in there? My passport, my daughter's two birth certificates, because I was gonna go get their passports. All of my stuff is in the car, including her medication that we had to take, because I have so much stuff to carry. I said, "Go put this in the car so I don't forget it tomorrow." I go back out there 9 o'clock that night. My car say find me. It was like Casper. So when I called the tow company that my car would have been towed through at my residency, they said, "No, we don't have it." When I look up again, my car is posted on social media. It's been returned to the person that it was stolen from.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
And
that's wild.
and,
That's
and I
wild right
and
there.
I
That's
was
fucked
I,
up.
I was so outdone. I was like, Did this really just happen to me?" And you think about the fact that you done put all of my stuff out there, what agencies
Yeah.
I done worked for,
Right.
and to be quite honest with you, if anybody that's close to me knows I'm still in school. I'm almost done, but I don't have my degree yet, but I'm almost done. So I'll be done just in the hot minute. But I done got my degree is real. The I my degree gonna be real. That work that I did. I got friends that went and they did the work for their PhD, but life happened, so they hadn't been able to really just finish. They did all the
Yeah.
work. They've completed the work. So I'm like, "Listen, you done completed the work, baby. We just got a hood, you know." You see what I'm saying? But when things happen in our adult life, we put things on the back burner because there are things that are more important. And I tell
Fact,
people this all the time.
fact.
If it doesn't affect my God, my money, or my kids, everything else
Yeah,
come after that. Because
fact.
I have to first protect those things, including my mental. And right now, to be honest with you, I'm not sleeping at night. Because I don't even go out. But I said, you know what? I'm not gonna stop going because you said if you see me out, it's on. I'm from New Orleans. That's an invitation for me. Let me go on and step on that.
You, but that type of talk from so-called activists or so-called political figure, that's a fucked up example for everybody is that are looking up to you and that was looking up to you. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Because a lot of people don't like, the negative shit, the loud talking. That's not a good look. They already look at black folks, you know what I'm saying, like shit. But then these people supposed to be political figures in our city, in our community. Like, what the fuck? Like, This shit is really ridiculous, and we need new leadership in Houston, Texas.
Right.
You know, and I'm gonna keep expressing that we need new leadership in the city of Houston, Texas, because we have none. We have none, none
Right.
whatsoever. You know, and my thing is, you know, and I've um been talking to a lot of people. I've been on the phone nonstop, you know. But last week I kind of took a break, you know, because of the situation with my grandma. So, um, I just really just been sitting back, gathering my thoughts. And putting all of the pieces together and looking, listening, and watching all of the different stories that has been coming across social media and the text messages and you know the phone calls. I've been, you know, doing all of that. You feel what I'm saying? So anybody that may have been trying to get in contact with me, you know, I do apologize because there's been a lot going on. You know, we're gonna do a special show on Wednesday. Slick Talk will do a special show on Wednesday because I was contacted by a lady this evening about a situation. So Wednesday we will be doing a special show on Slick Talk because we're going to address all the issues, and and if we have to do a special show, that's exactly what we're going to do. You know, and still we're still going to do our show on Thursdays like normal. We're still gonna do that, you know, as well. You know, so nothing has changed. You know, but I want to go back to the mentioning of people, children, um, because today I received a few phone calls today about an individual's daughter on OnlyFans. So, so with that being said, y'all need to be cautious when y'all are trying to target people, kids, and put people personal information out. You know, so now it's this screenshot floating around of this individual's daughter with an OnlyFans page. So you mean to tell me that y'all are bothering folks, you know, but at the same time, your house ain't even in order. Your house is filthy. You feel what I'm saying? And at the same
Absolutely.
time, I know about, you know, people, husbands, talking to other women. You know what I'm saying? Because even one of those women is my cousin. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to be careful when you bring in people' personal business into play on social media. Because, like I say, it's a lot of people houses that are filthy as fuck. So before people start targeting people, children, you have to analyze: is your child doing everything he or she's supposed to be doing? You feel what I'm saying? Because that's one thing. Don't play with nobody's child.
Right.
Leave people family alone because that's a whole nother trigger. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, you wouldn't want nobody walking around the city, you know, sending the screenshots, you know what I'm saying, to the entire hood, you know, letting everybody know that your daughter is selling ass. You feel what I'm saying? So let's stop the foolishness because people with the foolishness, hey, people are watching, and the more that you give people to watch, they're digging themselves.
You're
So
right.
they digging up information themselves, and they bringing the information right on to us.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And it's only right for us to respond because, like I said, the critical show been around since 2018, and we are still the number one go-to show it is in Houston, Texas. You know, so I salute everybody that's been supporting the critical show. You know, and I've told everybody since day one, our show is community based. Community based. Yes, we cover entertainers. Yes, we cover artists. We cover politicians, pastors, deacons. We cover it all. We cover it all. It's so if it's brought to us and everything pan out is being correct, yes, we're gonna put it out there. Yes. And this has always been my saying. I don't care how long we've been cool. I don't care if you're a family member. If you done did something fucked up in the community and they have brought it to the critical show's way, yes, we own it. So it don't matter if you feel some type of way about it or not. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Absolutely.
So as adults, and as far as people want to be public figures, and for people want to be a celebrity figure and all of this old type shit. Say, man, ain't no fun in that shit. And a lot of people try that type of shit is because they didn't have access to that shit before they got in the spotlight. Was so-called spotlight any fucking way. You feel what I'm saying? And and I'm glad that I was able to um soak up a lot of game from Gary Monroe. He taught me a lot, and even though me and him had our time and we had bumped heads. But before he passed, we made it right. You feel what I'm saying? We made it right. Um, and we have to stay on top of this shit because a lot of people sitting back, and they having health problems and they're getting sickly, and they're getting stressed out all because these so-called activists are misusing their power.
Right.
And for us as minorities, it makes us look bad because we are always the ones to abuse the fucking power. Any position, the motherfucking power is getting misused for their gain. And that's something that it's gotta stop and it's gonna stop because shit, we're gonna stay if you're doing wrong and you're stealing money from our people, yeah, we're gonna say something, And the thing about me and brother Emmanuel, we don't care about nobody running our background, because we're an open book,
Right.
and we're not ashamed about a damn thing that we have done. But what we have done is come back to our communities and have been doing the right thing. That's the thing about it. And that's the difference between these so-called activists. They are not doing the work and they don't have any resources for our people whatsoever. But I appreciate everybody that has tuned in tonight, and I definitely appreciate our guests that took time to sit down, and voice their opinion, and everybody that's watching, thank y'all for the comments, thank y'all for the love, the support, everything that y'all do to support the Critical Show, Brother Emmanuel, Big Dog, the Slick Talk, hey, we are not gonna let y'all down. We're gonna stay on their neck. Bottom line. So if you're out there doing wrong and people have come out, and voiced their opinions about y'all, hey, we on y'all last. And another thing, um, we have to stop with this cheerleading bullshit because I see a lot of you motherfuckers out there that try to play both sides and all that type of shit. A lot of y'all try to play both sides. I see it. I just don't say nothing. But while y'all cheerleading in the motherfucking background, knowing it that these so-called activists are doing fucked up shit in our community, say man, y'all worse than they are. But just wait until the shoe was on the other foot. We're gonna see if it's still funny. We're gonna see if y'all are still cheerleading and shit. when it happens to one of y'all family members or one of y'all friends. We're gonna see if that shit is still funny. We're gonna see when your personal information is spread over social media. We're gonna see if all of that shit is funny. You know, but salute to everybody. Thank y'all. Tune in Wednesday night, same time, 8 p.m. We got a special show for y'all.
Good night.
Appreciate it, and we out.